Picture this. You're scrolling through TikTok, your thumb gliding effortlessly across the endless stream of videos, each one more entertaining than the last. It's become a daily ritual for millions, a place to laugh, learn, and connect with people from all over the world. Suddenly you're laughing at a hilarious cat video when, out of nowhere, the screen goes black. The app vanishes before your eyes, leaving you stunned and confused. For millions of Americans, this digital apocalypse wasn't just a nightmare scenario, it was a real possibility. The app that defined a generation, that shaped trends and launched careers, was on the verge of being wiped from every phone in the US overnight. The government-mandated ban loomed large and the digital world held its breath. Influencers who had built entire businesses and communities on TikTok faced losing their livelihoods in an instant. A massive cultural hub, a virtual town square, would simply vanish without warning. The threat wasn't just a technical glitch or a rumor, it was a national security order coming straight from the highest levels of government. For months, the conversation was dominated by talk of a ban, with politicians and tech experts debating the future of the platform. Then, just as everyone was preparing to say their goodbyes, a dramatic plot twist unfolded. A deal, a high-stakes agreement between two global superpowers, the United States and China, was suddenly on the table, designed to save TikTok at the 11th hour. This wasn't just a corporate merger, it was a geopolitical chess match, with the fate of digital culture hanging in the balance. The news dropped like a bombshell. A tentative agreement had been reached. US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping hammered out a framework to keep the app alive, at least for now. The ban was put on hold, and a collective sigh of relief echoed across the internet, as users and creators alike celebrated the unexpected reprieve. But what did this deal actually entail? The announcement left everyone with more questions than answers. The future of TikTok in America was still uncertain, and the story was far from over. The world waited breathless for the next chapter in this digital drama. So why all the drama? Why did a social media app, known mostly for viral dances and funny pet videos, suddenly become the center of a heated national security debate? Why did the US government have such a massive beef with an app full of dance challenges, lip syncs, and memes? It might seem over the top, but the concerns run much deeper than you'd think. It boils down to two words: data and influence. These aren't just buzzwords, they're at the heart of the digital age's biggest power struggles. TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, ByteDance, a huge red flag for US intelligence agencies and lawmakers who worry about foreign control over American data. The fear? The Chinese government could compel ByteDance to hand over Americans' personal data, either openly or behind closed doors. We're talking about what you watch, who you talk to, where you are, maybe even your biometrics, like your face or voice. All that data could be a goldmine for anyone wanting to track or profile users. US officials pointed to China's national intelligence law, which requires companies to cooperate with state intelligence agencies if asked. That's a legal obligation, not just a suggestion. The nightmare scenario? The Chinese Communist Party using TikTok data to spy, track, or build detailed profiles for blackmail, targeting, or even espionage. Lawmakers called the app a Trojan horse for the CCP, a seemingly harmless platform that could secretly serve foreign interests. Beyond spying, there was fear of manipulation. What if the app could shape opinions or sway public debate without anyone realizing? TikTok's For You page is powered by a sophisticated algorithm, one that learns your preferences and feeds you content tailored to your interests. US officials worried China could secretly order ByteDance to tweak the algorithm, suppressing criticism, amplifying propaganda, or even influencing elections by pushing certain narratives. It's a subtle but powerful form of influence, shaping what millions see and think every day, often without them even noticing. This wasn't the first time the US had gone after a Chinese tech company, but TikTok was different, deeply embedded in American culture, especially among the youth. The pressure campaign started in 2020 and led to a rare bipartisan bill: sell your US operations or get banned. Both parties agreed the risks were too high to ignore. The Supreme Court upheld the law, making the threat real and forcing ByteDance to make a tough choice. ByteDance was forced to make a deal, or risk losing its most valuable market, millions of American users and billions in revenue. The stakes? National security, free speech, and the future of global tech. The outcome could set a precedent for how countries handle foreign-owned apps. That's why the US wanted to hit delete. Because in the digital age, even a dance app can become a battleground for power, privacy, and influence. Facing a digital guillotine, TikTok's future in the US hung by a thread, with lawmakers threatening an outright ban. ByteDance and the US government entered tense negotiations, searching for a solution that would satisfy both national security concerns and business interests. The breakthrough? A spinoff, not a forced sale or shutdown, offering a middle ground between the two extremes. Under this plan, TikTok's US operations would transform into a new, mostly American company, TikTok Global, designed to operate independently from its Chinese parent. The main objective was to build a digital firewall, separating American users' data from ByteDance and the Chinese government, addressing fears of foreign influence and surveillance. TikTok Global would be headquartered in the US, subject to American laws, regulations, and direct government oversight, ensuring greater transparency. To make this work, Oracle and Walmart stepped in as key investors and strategic partners, bringing both technical and commercial expertise. Oracle's role was crucial. They would store and secure all US user data on their own cloud servers, promising robust protection and compliance. Meanwhile, Walmart would contribute its e-commerce know-how, aiming to integrate shopping features and expand TikTok's business model in the US. ByteDance would still retain a majority financial stake, but American investors and a US majority board would control the company's voting shares, shifting operational power. It's a delicate balancing act. US control to appease regulators and the public, while ByteDance keeps a significant financial interest in the business. This carefully crafted compromise allowed both President Trump and President Xi to tentatively sign off, sidestepping a full ban and a potential diplomatic crisis. The spin-off structure became the heart of the agreement, setting a precedent for how global tech companies might navigate geopolitical tensions. In essence, it was a corporate divorce. America got custody of the users and their data, while ByteDance kept a financial connection. The deal was complex and controversial, but ultimately, it kept TikTok alive and thriving in the US. At least for now. Let's break down who gets what. TikTok Global's board would have a majority of American citizens, including the CEO and a US-approved security director. This structure puts key decisions in American hands, blocking Beijing's influence. ByteDance would technically own 80% of TikTok Global, but American investors, Oracle and Walmart, would own 20%. Here's the twist. About 40% of ByteDance is held by American venture capital firms. So when you do the math, TikTok Global is majority owned by American money. Oracle isn't just an investor, it's the tech guardian, tasked with migrating all US user data to secure American servers. Oracle can inspect TikTok's source code and algorithm for hidden backdoors. Walmart's role? Turning TikTok into a digital storefront, tapping into its massive user base for social commerce. For Walmart, it's a business opportunity to reach the next generation of consumers. For Oracle, it's about data security. For ByteDance, it's about keeping a stake in a global phenomenon. The structure is creative, but it's all about control. The billion-dollar question, who controls the algorithm? China drew a hard line. Its export laws protect tech like TikTok's recommendation engine. The message: you can sell the car, but the engine stays with us. The US insisted on full oversight to prevent manipulation. Negotiations stalled, neither side wanted to give up the keys. The compromise: ByteDance won't transfer the source code, but Oracle can review it and all updates in a secure environment. Oracle's engineers will inspect the code for security backdoors or censorship. It's not full ownership but trusted oversight, America as the permanent watchdog. ByteDance keeps the intellectual property, but TikTok Global runs the algorithm on Oracle's secure US servers. Oracle acts as a filter, ensuring the US version is clean and safe. China saves face, the US gets security assurances. It's a fragile arrangement, and its success depends on whether oversight actually works. The algorithm remains the crown jewel and the biggest risk. The saga's core issue? Data security. Enter Project Texas, a plan to build a digital fortress around US user data. All American data must be stored on US soil, managed by an American company, overseen by American personnel. Oracle is the cornerstone, hosting all TikTok US data on its own servers. Your videos, messages, and history will reside in US data centers. ByteDance can't touch them. Migrating petabytes of data is massive, but it's key to the firewall. Data can flow in but not out to China. The deal creates a US Data Security (USDS) division within TikTok, managed independently and overseen by Oracle. Access to data is tightly restricted, even for most TikTok Global employees. Engineers must go through security gateways monitored by USDS. Oracle and US officials can audit everything: source code, data policies, systems. This level of third-party oversight is unprecedented for social media. It's trust replaced by verification. The US isn't taking ByteDance's word for it, they're embedding their own digital sheriff. The goal: make sure promises are kept and data stays safe. This wasn't a one-sided win for America. For China, the biggest victory: TikTok isn't banned, and ByteDance doesn't have to sell outright. A forced sale would have been a huge humiliation for Beijing. By keeping a majority financial stake and the core algorithm, China claims it stood up to US pressure. The deal included US trade concessions, delaying or rolling back tariffs on Chinese goods. TikTok became a bargaining chip in a much larger economic conflict. China sacrificed some control over US operations for economic benefits. By avoiding a forced sale of the algorithm, China defended its tech export laws. It sent a message: its intellectual property isn't for sale under pressure. ByteDance keeps an 80% stake in TikTok Global, a massive financial win. TikTok Global's IPO could be worth over $60 billion. ByteDance's share is colossal. China keeps its tech pride and a huge piece of the financial pie. Is this deal a security win or just a smokescreen? Supporters call it a landmark. The US forced a foreign app to restructure for national security. TikTok Global's American majority board, US-based data storage, and Oracle's oversight create checks and balances. It's a blueprint for managing global tech while protecting national interests. The US gets unprecedented oversight, setting a new standard for transparency. For users, the win is simple: TikTok survives. Critics, though, see a shell game. ByteDance still owns 80%. Is this just creative accounting? Oracle and Walmart's ties to Trump raise cronyism concerns. Can Oracle really catch every tweak in the algorithm? Is the firewall as strong as it looks? As long as ByteDance owns the core IP, some say the risk remains. The deal may enrich a few, while leaving security questions unresolved. No matter your view, the TikTok deal changed the game for global tech. It's a new playbook. Foreign companies may have to partner locally, store data domestically, and submit to oversight to access big markets. The era of a borderless internet is fading. The US-China tech rivalry is now defined by regulatory power. The US may scrutinize other Chinese apps, while China could retaliate against American tech giants. For users, the future is uncertain. You get to keep TikTok, but the internet may become more fragmented. Your app experience could differ by country, with different features and rules. Data localization is becoming the norm, possibly stifling innovation. The deal leaves a big question. Is this a sustainable model or just a temporary truce? It forces us to confront the tension between a connected world and national interests. The deal saved one app, but created a complex, fragile new order. The final verdict? That's up to you.